Hey, what's going on, guys? Ty back here to bring you another review for a comic book. This is going to be a pull list episode on Marvel's Generations, the Spider-Man, or the Spiders, I should say. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Now, I haven't really voiced my opinion on this whole Marvel Legacy / Marvel's Generations thing. Part of me is super excited for it, because I think after Secret Wars, Marvel Comics have really, really died down in terms of quality. Basically quality. Quality spans everything, but storytelling's been whack. Character development, for me, in my opinion, has been whack. Like, I think Riri Williams was horribly introduced, which sucks because she's so cool. And, like, Miles Morales brought into the 616. I was a huge... at first I was a fan of, and then as it happened, I think it's been horrible. I haven't been able to buy the book because I can't take it seriously. It doesn't feel like the same Miles, like, that I loved in the Ultimate Spider-Man. It's just been horrible. Peter Parker, my favorite superhero of all time, Spider-Man. Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man's book has been absolutely trash. Absolute trash since Superior Spider-Man ended, but especially now, with this new with Parker Industries stuff. It's not Spider-Man. It's just been absolute garbage. There's been a few issues in there that I've enjoyed, but anyway, this I can say is the Spider-Man book that I have enjoyed the most in a long time, in years, I must say. Bendis did a phenomenal job with this, so we're gonna crack this book open. I love that cover, by the way. This art style for the book is very, very based on old Marvel comic books, the classic 60s, 70s, early Silver Age Marvel comic books. And the art is by Ramon Perez, and he's just done a freaking phenomenal job. And Bendis has really, really done a good job with this, even though it reads like a Bendis book. I mean, good lord, I read the book. It feels like I read the book in 10 minutes, which people hate, but that's one reason I love Ultimate Spider-Man. It's a quick read. Basically, this happens after Spider-Man lifted the rubble. That was the last big, from what I can gather, that was the last huge moment in Peter Parker's career as Spider-Man, when he was trying to rush an antidote to Aunt May, and he lifted the rubble off him. What was that, Amazing Spider-Man 34, 36, 33, somewhere around there, I think? I'm having a brain fart. We're going to do a review of all the Amazing Spider-Man books, I think, on this channel. It's one thing I really want to do, because they're just so good. All of them, pretty much, it's just really, really good. But this art style, like I said, Ramon Perez really, really sets it in a different time, but this book also proves to us that the Marvel Universe and their whole concept of time does not matter. These people are wearing clothes, and they say Peter's saying things just like they would in the early 60s, or the late 60s, early 70s in time, but a few panels later we're finding Miles and Gank, quote, stepbrothers. So, which, I mean, we all knew, if you've been a comic book fan, you know that time doesn't really matter in comic books, necessarily, like, at all. Marvel, I don't even know, like, a certain time, like, maybe it's been 10 years since Spider-Man got bit by the spider in the Marvel Universe. I don't know, maybe. That we've constantly had, like, with the 700.1s, you had some updates to that, and constantly through Marvel, they've definitely altered time, and that's fine. You kind of have to do that with comics, but we see Miles, and he's really confused, and he stands up for Peter, and us as the readers, we don't really know how Miles got put in this time period, and I kind of just brushed it off because whatever, this is the Generations issue. It's kind of just meant to team them up together and show that there is room for two Spider-Men, and it was just really, really good, especially, like, the meat and the potatoes is when Miles finally shows up to Peter's place, and Peter is sleep deprived, just broken, like, he's so exhausted. Like, you can really tell. I mean, he's breaking things. He's almost to the verge of tears, throwing like a temper tantrum. Similar, Peter Parker really did act like this in the old Lee Ditko era of comics. He whined a lot, and you know, he really was kind of a woe is me character at first, and some people argue that, but if you really do read the old stuff, he did that a lot, and I thought that was just really, Bendis just did a really good job at mimicking that storytelling, and you know, like I said, the meat and potatoes of the story is when Miles Morales finally climbs up in Peter's room, and he told him earlier he was Spider-Man, and then he kind of ran away, but this is the part where Peter's just like, okay, you know, you're Spider-Man from the future, and there's a bunch of spider people, and I was like, not really, there's like 6, and he's like, I don't really count, like, one personally, so whatever, and Peter's like, oh, okay. Peter's so sleep-deprived, though, that none of this matters. In his mind, like, he calls him his imaginary friend, I think, at one point, or, I don't know, but, you know, this whole thing is just so emotional for me, because, let me find it, you know, what Miles says when Peters gets the news that Aunt May is going to be good, you know, let's see, Miles picks up Peter's mask, and he says, let's see, I didn't see how much pain was here. This is your pain. I felt it so powerfully. So personally, I made it mine, but it's yours. Spider-Man is yours. You're amazing to share it with me. You're amazing to let me prove myself by your high standard. But even that is just about how amazing you are, not how much I deserve it. I guess I really never understood how personal it was. And Peter kind of, you know, makes it funny because he's like, wet costume still on. And that was it. And he disappears, you know. And it says, not even close to the end. But, you know, these Generations issues, I picked up a couple, and they've just been horrible. I thought the Hulk was awful. I thought I didn't like the Phoenix one. I didn't even pick up the Iron Man one. I didn't pick up any of the other ones just because of the bad reputation that it's been feeling. But I was picking this one up no matter what. Written by Bendis. It's the only Marvel character that I really care about right now, and he's my favorite hero, specifically Peter. And I gotta say, man, it's just a really well done book. This right here makes me look forward to what is going to happen in the future for not only Peter but Miles and the Marvel Universe as a whole. I've got the Legacy book, and I don't think I'm going to talk about that much, other than it feels like a previews issue that I paid $5 for. And, you know, there's some cool things in it. Wolverine coming back and stuff, and there's some hints, and the Fantastic Two, and blah, blah, they've been traveling through multiverses, and is our world, is the Marvel Universe we've been following really the main Marvel Universe, or is it an alternate timeline? You know, I don't know. I don't know what's to come in Marvel Comics. I just want some solid stories for my favorite superhero, and I got it with this one. And I think if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're not a Miles fan, I think you need to pick this up. I think this will change your mind. Like I said, I'm a big Miles fan. I loved Ultimate Spider-Man, and his death is I think the Ultimate Spider-Man death, Peter Parker death, is the best death held in comic books. In comic book history, it's the best, like, hands down, the best written and dealt with comic book death of all time. I'm just gonna flat out say it. It brought tears to my eyes, blah, blah. Miles Morales came around, I was a big supporter. I still am, I just don't read his book, because I'm not a fan of where it's going. Maybe it's gotten great, and that's awesome. I went to about issue 6, and that's pretty much my breaking point. If I'm not enjoying it by 6 or 7 issues, I pretty much drop it. But, man, this book is just so good. For Spider-Man fans, I think this is a must-have in your collection. Read it digitally, go pick it up. I say go pick up the physical copy and get the digital code if you can, because you'll get 2 for 1 and you support your local comic book shop. So yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. I'm going to have to give it a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I mean, it was just really short. $4.99 is kind of a high price for this book. I don't think comics are worth $5 a piece, even though I buy them at $5 a piece. I think the $4.99 is insane. DC's putting it at $2.99. I know it's twice a month, but anyway. Yeah, I think you need to go pick up Generations Spider-Man. I think it's, from what I've heard, and from what I've personally read, it's the only good Generations book out there. So, yeah, I don't know. That could be it, but that's it for this video. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.